afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming. We are very pleased to be here today and to speak here about design policy. As you know, we were master students until February, and now we are done, and we would like to tell you about our research today. Just a short introduction in what we've done. Actually, we investigated the theme of design policy and design support programs. We went to New Zealand and we went to Singapore and talked to people and did some research and put it together in our work. I would like to start with global challenges that face our society right now. It's, on the one side, it's growing cities density. On the other side, supply of the abandoned areas has to be secured. There is a great problem, waste management problem. On one side, on the other side, we can benefit from prudent resource use. And Europe is facing very huge problem of young unemployment and in the same time aging population. But we believe that all these challenges can be transferred into opportunities like behavior change and increase in efficiency, but also new business models, new ideas that came to the world, and better living environments and so on. And we believe that we as designers can contribute and work together with other specialists to make our world a better place to be, to live. And we believe we have possibilities and we have abilities for it, such as prototyping, visualization, simplifying complexity, and so on. So first of all, for those who don't know, we would like to explain what design policy actually is. And there's three types according to a researcher Skipstad. And there are policies that support design industry and the policies that support the engagement of designers to help others. Policies, and the third type are policies that encourage the use of design while developing public policies for other fields. Through our research, we could find out there are a kind of vision or aim behind the design policies, and design policies usually aim to support design education and promote local designers and local design. Also, the collaboration projects between designers and professionals from other industries are supported, and there are awareness programs we will be talking later about. Well, the value of design still in some people's eyes, design is just an embellishment. On the other side, in European Union, design is increasingly recognized as a booster of innovation. And since maybe 10 years, even more as a booster of social innovation as well. Well, interesting thing, why actually this is just actually a lot of research is done on small to medium enterprises because they have a lot of potential to grow and to develop itself. So in the Cox review, you could read about the problems, why actually SMEs, small to medium enterprise, don't invest a lot in design. What are the problems there? So first of all, the lack of awareness and experience, and the lack of belief in the value of design is usually a problem. And people sometimes just don't know where to get a professional help. And they actually are not quite risky. And of course, for small to medium enterprises, it's quite hard to find time, to find energy and resources to try out something new or something different because they have other problems and other pressures. We would like to show you a short animation film which was done by British UK Design Council, thank you, and in order to show what actually can be achieved for enterprises through the use of design or through the effective use of the good design.
Being a small business in Britain isn't easy, is it? In fact, right now, it all looks pretty bleak. And yet, within the next 5 years, the government believes over half of all new jobs will come from small businesses. That's you. Despite all this doom and gloom, some companies have already found a way to grow. So what's their secret? You see, design isn't just about shiny gadgets or a new logo. It's about thinking beyond what you normally do and transforming the world around you. Think of design as a really flexible and powerful tool that can help with everything your business needs to thrive. Like making new products that reach new customers, improving your workplace so you're more productive, while creating an exciting brand that you can watch grow. And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. Every £1 spent on design can give you over £20 in increased revenue and £4 in increased profit. And if you want to sell to new markets, that same £1 can turn into £5 in increased exports. It's no surprise that UK businesses spend £33 billion on design every year. So what makes design such a powerful tool? It's simple, really. Design is about people. Designers solve problems by working out the impact that your product or service will have on the people that use it. Whatever you're designing, people, your customers, your team, are at the heart of it. That means your design can't help but be user-friendly. So people can't help but like what you do. That's good news for your business, which is pretty good news for everyone. Design is about thinking differently and growing your business. See? It's really not a secret.
Of course, many councils and research institutions around the world are mostly interested in showing the value to the businesses, but the emerging field is also the design for public services and design in policy making. I would like to tell a bit about measuring indicators, how design can be measured. And of course, there are qualitative and quantitative metrics. And quantitative metrics can be financial or non-financial. Non-financial metrics are something like time or number of people or number of products. And financial metrics can be measured when you measure the increase in sales or greater cash flow, faster cash flow, or less costs. Qualitative metrics usually can be converted into financial metrics. For example, user satisfaction, more satisfied clients leads to a better cash flow or greater cash flow. Through our research, we could recognize that a lot of some countries do have design policies, but still don't do a lot, so they are not really good implemented. And others don't have design policies, but do promote design a lot and do a lot on this field. And actually, we tried to put together a map showing where on the world we have design policy. And we could find there are some countries, they have no design policy. Some of them are considering developing, or what is quite common and also in the European Union, design is a part of other policy. And some countries have a separate design policy, which is then much stronger implemented as well. We put together a map, and as you can see, this warm green is the countries that are quite developed in regards of design policy. And as you can see, in Germany, we don't really have design policy. Actually, in the end of the 19th century, they were a problem here in Germany because German products were known as knockoffs, bad quality products. And then there was Friedrich Naumann who came with an idea or came with his book saying without good quality products we cannot sustain, we cannot achieve better results, and we cannot sell internationally, we can't compete with others. And as you all know, the results of these actions actually are still there. So German design is still known as a good quality design overseas. I would like to show you just how Singapore is now quite active implementing design in their strategy. They have nearly no resources. The only resource they have is their people. And so they bet on their people. And this is quite remarkable development, we believe, and that's why we would like to just present you a strategy very shortly. So the first strategy came out in 2004, and it was about creating supply and demand for design. And there were some actions like design development for promotion, the festival, and so on. So they tried to just attract attention to design. And since 2009, there was a strategy where much more was done. And Carolin will tell you about the program we analyzed as well.
So I will tell you a little bit about who implements such design policies. Well, so-called design bodies, it can be design councils, design organizations, centers, or even units within ministries. And such design bodies are spread over the world. So we did our research, and here you can see there are a lot of design bodies around the world. When we zoom in, the first that were established were in Sweden in 1845, followed by Finland in 1875, and they were quite the early ones. And Africa and South America, they really have young design bodies. Extraordinary example is Designing South Africa and Designing Brazil. They were founded for the FIFA World Cup, so in South Africa in 2010, and in Designing Brazil 2011. And they are really there to mediate between the people who are involved in this city development, like designers, architects, and the public. And they really have a special, they really mediate between those people, and it's really important between, as maybe you heard it in the news, in Brazil there are the stadiums are popping from the ground. A stadium costs like 1.5 billion of dollars, and the people don't see that the money is coming to them there in the country. So they're protesting, they don't see that the healthcare system and get that investments like the buildings are getting. So it seems like such mega events really are there to gain investments for economic recognition, but not for the for the people itself. So there, the urban development, is really questionable on one side. So you have a good and a bad side for that development. And Designing Brazil and Designing South Africa, they are really active, but they don't have something like design support programs. They are like they are there to implement design policies. So you may ask, what is a design support program? Well, they are there to support enterprises, public service and research institutions, for example. And they aim to improve products, services, and systems. And they really want to raise the competitiveness, the efficiency, and the user satisfaction of the people who join such programs. And well, they are offered by such design organizations, councils and centers, so-called design bodies. In 2012, we had 12 design programs in operation here in Europe, and there are even more around the world, so there's really a demand for them. In our research, we analyzed deeply 4 special design programs. One from the United Kingdom, which is one of the oldest, quite long active, and the Design Leadership Program. Then we analyzed the Design Pilot Program in Norway, the Design Integration Program in New Zealand, and the Design Program in Singapore. And what was interesting, that their scope are really slightly different from each other, so they all have different aspects they focus on. But what they all do have in common, they really focus on product development. But when we have a closer look, social development and social design is not really in concern of all of them. Just the 2 you can see here, United Kingdom and Norway, they really concerned about social design in their program to support. And here you can see the Danish design ladder you may be familiar with. There are 4 stages of the design ladder. So the first stage, where there is no design at all. The second stage, where people understand designing purely as styling factor. The third stage, where design is understood and used as a process. And the fourth stage, where design is a strategy and really encourages innovation. And the 4 programs, they aim to pick up the participants on different stages, you probably see. So UK really starts from the ground and says, okay, we want to pick our clients up to the third stage, that they use design as a process. And so do New Zealand and Singapore. Just Norway really says, okay, we want to get those who understand design purely as styling, which are the most businesses and organizations really often around, the small ones, the SMEs. And they say, okay, we want to push them up, that they use design as a strategy, and they really stand out. And their program has quite a long duration. It can go up to 5 to 6 years, so it's quite a long process to get them there. And yeah, the process of these programs we put together, and we transferred it into a metaphor, like kind of a participation journey. So from we have the view from the participant, and even the view from the people who make this program. So it is really important for such programs that the planning and prototyping and political pre-work at the beginning happens simultaneously, and that promotion is done, that clients can be attracted, and of course there needs to be requirements check, because the funds they get, they have yes, certain criteria, and not everybody meets them. So the application for the program should be very easily and not too bureaucratic, and not too long duration. And yeah, well, in the process, all the involved parties get together. It's really important that they make sure where they want to go and what the goal is. And they are joining learning session, that they get an understanding of what design really can do for them, and yeah, that they get the shared understanding of what design really is and where they can go with their organization and or business. And therefore workshops and field studies need to be done with the users of their product or service. And yeah, then strategy, of course, is set up, and the next steps are clarified, and improvement and development hopefully occurs of the product and or the system. And it needs to be tested. And of course, evaluation is very important at all points of the journey, to convince other participants and financiers that the program really makes sense. And the implementation at the end is done with the designers together and the participants, and hopefully the results prove their worth. And yeah, well, you may ask yourself, why don't we have a German design program here in our comparison or talk about it? Well, as Viktoriya mentioned, we have no design policy in Germany. Okay, I will skip that. It is interesting that the yearly investments in research and development in Germany per employee in the private sector are 30 times as higher than in the private sector, service sector. Sorry. So you probably, or you might know that there are some problems that might occur with the service. So you probably had also that experience that you are somewhere at the doctor or a hospital, you have really long waiting times, you get a negative user experience, or you get untransparent information, and that's often due to shrinking budgets that all organizations have to face, high bureaucracy, and the lack of user research organizations or businesses often miss. And well, how can design benefit such public services? And I want to cite Marco Steinberg from the Finnish Innovation Fund in Finland. He said, imagine if you deliver public services with the attention of detail that we give to an iPhone, how beautiful an experience of a public sector thing could be, right? Rather than being a painful experience, so it could be fantastic. Well, and yeah, so all the services that surround us are also creating our urban living, how we feel there, how we get access to transport system, or how we buy a ticket, and how we get access to how long are the distances from shoppings or healthcare systems and so on, are there short ways? All this also influences our urban living, and that's the end of our presentation. We introduced to some design policies and support programs, and if you want to contact us, you can say hello. Yeah, thank you.